Welcome. You've splash landed into this Prosecco-laden podcast, straight into the woo-woo pool with the crew of Ohm-g. We're just a simple group of tragically imperfect and highly empathic BFFs, exploring a wide range of atypical topics with humor, grace, and curiosity. This is Ohm-g.
Hello, and welcome back to Ohm-g podcast. I know the G part is not the same without Aaron here. Welcome back to part 2 of The Kids Are All Right, still questionable. And we are welcoming back our special guest panel today. Lena, would you like to introduce the friends that you brought along for today?
This is Lauryn. She has a huge zit on her nose. It's great. It looks great. This is Corrine, and she's always busy doing soccer.
And you are?
I'm Lena.
And she tells your mama jokes
24/7.
Constantly.
way too much.
Can't stop me.
And then I'd like to welcome Jacob Luck back to our show today. I'm going to let him introduce himself and who he is and what he does and how he knows all of us.
All right. So should I start with how I know them?
Yeah,
or
please.
Let's start with how I know these ladies. They are in a 8th grade journalism / yearbook / cultural arts class in middle school here. /theater. I'm here with Corrine, and it's been a pleasure to teach them this year. Last year I taught Corrine and Lauryn. I'm in my 3rd year of teaching now. My first year was a misery when I taught elementary school. But it's been such a gift to teach middle school the last 2 years during this difficult time. Overall, though, I'm Mr. Luck. I am a theater guru for the last 10 years, and I studied theater in Greensboro at a university called the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Spent a lot of time auditioning for commercials, television shows, and spending a lot of time in what we call cattle calls for theater. Had a great time with that and realized that I wanted to go into education, and so here we are, really. So yeah.
And then we knew each other.
Yep.
Before that.
Massage therapy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a little small circle here.
It's a small world.
It is.
Yeah.
So last time we didn't really get down to the nitty gritty of things. So that's my goal today, is to get inside of your heads.
Really? That sounds...
Isn't that scary?
A little.
Silly goofy.
So I want to start off with a question, and I'm going to start with Corrine. And this question is on the fly, Corrine. Do you feel peer pressure at school? Do you feel like you are subject to peer pressure?
All the time.
What kind of peer pressure do you feel is the worst for you?
Honestly, there's like so much peer pressure going on around in school in general. But for me, I just feel peer pressure with like dress code. And like, if I don't dress correctly or properly, everyone's going to like make fun of me or something like that. So honestly, I just feel with things like that, that's kind of peer pressured me.
Yeah.
And like also just kids around me saying certain things, that's a lot of peer pressure as well. Just like, oh my God, you're like so lame that you're not doing this or blah, 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 like stuff like that. It's just.
Girl, who do I need to go see? Sorry about that. I always felt peer pressure about clothes.
Yeah.
That was my thing. Like, I never had the name brand and always wanted the name brand. And I was always like, wish that I had the clothes that a lot of the other girls that had more money.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Especially for like things like Lululemon. Like I see so many girls around school carrying bags like that just to show off the fact that they've bought Lululemon.
Yes.
Overpriced.
They carry
For
around
real.
these little like teeny tiny like Lululemon bags. I don't
Their
even know what
lunch?
they put in them.
Their
but-
lunch. That's their like lunch.
That's their
Lunch,
lunch.
yeah.
Oh.
They put a cheese snack in there, a cheese stick and an apple.
She's sticking
Piece
in
of
there.
lettuce.
Probably you can only fit in there.
So do you feel peer pressure at all, Lena?
Well, if this counts for like getting assignments done and how the teachers kind of pressure you, not you in general, but like some teachers are like, oh, this project is due like tomorrow, and like they just told us about it. Sometimes that happens, or just when they tell us that this like huge essay we're gonna do and it's due like in a few days, and it's
So that's,
I don't like. I'm really slow, and I normally get assignments done like till late. So I try to get them done. It's just hard because the teachers are kind of like, you need to get this done now, or you're gonna get 0 on it, stuff like that.
well, that's kind of like academic pressure, but not so much from
Right.
other people unless you,
It's true.
like your other peers, unless you feel like you have to do as well or better than them. But you don't feel like you have to dress a certain way or act a certain way in order to fit in, or
No, I just wear what I want to wear,
Mhm.
like jeans and a t-shirt or a sweater or whatever. I don't really care.
that's good. How about you, Lauryn?
I think I felt more peer pressure in like 6th grade because now I sort of have my like own sense of style. But in 6th grade, I feel like I was probably more popular, and I dressed really differently and I acted really differently to stay popular. And I don't really face that kind of peer pressure anymore. But now, but now it's like if someone makes a joke that I don't really think is funny or that I don't really agree with, I sort of just feel like peer pressure to like laugh at it anyways. Because otherwise I feel like people are just gonna make fun of me.
Yeah. Lena and I were talking about that from the bus ride the other day, that some boy was calling a girl fat.
Mm.
And I was like, did you stand up for her? And she was like, you know, there's that fear of like standing up for other
Yes.
people because you don't want them to say stuff about you.
Yeah.
But then you've left that person kind of alienated, and how are they feeling about being called fat?
Well, on the bus that we all ride together, there was definitely a group of guys. I try to say
Yeah,
stuff
we
as often as
definitely
possible.
tell them that that's not.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah, but they
Mhm.
like again, they're boys. They
Yeah,
don't
well,
care,
I've
and it's not.
definitely been called fat by them several times.
What?
I've been
Yeah.
called
I know.
lesbian.
Yeah, they call us lesbians.
Well, and to speak to that, I think a boy's behavior is just a reflection of how they feel,
Exactly.
because they may like boys. And so
Yeah, that's true.
they're pushing this on you as a middle schooler, especially. I mean, at 13, I didn't know what I liked.
Yeah.
Shoot, I was just trying to figure out this Facebook thing that just came out.
Right.
I mean,
MySpace.
MySpace.
MySpace, right? And so I think that I try to tell my students all the time. I had 2 young ladies this week who got into it in flag football out in PE. And I told her, I said, her behavior is a reflection of how she feels. If
Yeah.
she's cussing at you, calling you names, and being aggressive with you, she's losing control within.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you have to set the tone for you and not play her game.
Yeah.
Right. And so same with you all. Don't, boys or girls or anybody in between, wherever you're at, I don't think that you should play that game.
No.
So that's how I feel about that.
Yeah. It bothers
Yeah.
me. So, Mr. Locke,
Yes.
so what led you to teaching middle school specifically, or teaching kids in general? Because, I mean, sometimes they're all right, and sometimes the kids just ain't all right.
Mhm. So I actually wrote down my answers, and so I'll kind of go with what I said. I taught elementary school the first year.
Mm-hmm.
There was 2 vacancies, a middle school theater position, and then an elementary theater vacancy. And I started teaching the year we went home for COVID-19. And so I started self-reflecting. We were home for 2 months, hadn't had a haircut. I actually saved a lot of money during the pandemic because I just wasn't going out and spending money. But I realized that for me, it was important for students to be able to understand my skill set, because I didn't study education.
Mm-hmm.
Most of their teachers studied
Right.
education,
Right.
and they have master's degrees and PhDs. And nobody taught me how to teach.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned theater by, like I tell the students, like riding a bike. In order to ride a bike, you just have to hop on and go for it and fall off many times. And that's my teaching philosophy with theater, at least. So Corrine knows that. And then with you two in journalism, I worked at the radio station here in town.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were like, will you pilot this class? And so did you ask what the struggles are so far with it, or just?
Not yet.
Okay. So just what
Why-
specifically led me to it.
Yeah.
So this middle school that I now teach at with these young ladies, they were like, we want you to teach theater, but we want you to pilot this cultural arts class, this journalism class. We don't have enough arts classes. It was visual arts. That was it.
Mhm.
So long story short, they asked me to do that, and I said, sure. And I have 12 classes now here in middle school.
You basically created the program there.
I did. So I've established a program. I kind of planted the seeds. Matter of fact, I was let go. They cut me on the first day last year of school. So I was fired. I lost my job, and I was hired in April. So I came in August to like put my room together, and they were like, we're sorry.
You won't have to go.
Yeah, they were like, we hate to tell you this on your first day of school, but we're not going to be able to have you here at our school this year.
Can you imagine, girls, if he had not been there?
Oh my gosh.
And this was last year when we were still virtual and all that. And so I literally got in the car, I drove to the sign, and I just lost it. Because I was like, how? Like, what am I going to do? All the vacancies were filled.
Mm-hmm.
But then they called me 2 days later. I made some phone calls. We pulled some teeth, and they were able to keep me for the year. So I'll get into all that later. But
That's awesome.
Yep.
We're glad
Thank you for asking that.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Flash Finds podcast, the world's fastest podcast where we explore how Facebook can help you with the stuff you're into. I'm Emma Rogue, joined by Nathan the Cat Lady, a Facebook creator. So Nathan, if you're into pets, what kind of stuff can you find on Facebook?
Well, I make reels about useful tips for pet owners. For instance, cats don't like still water, so all of my cats have cat fountains.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. What a great episode. See you next time on the Flash Finds podcast, all about discovering the stuff on Facebook you care about. Bye.
This episode is brought to you by the all-new 2024 Toyota Grand Highlander. Being the parent in charge of the neighborhood carpool can be intimidating. With the 2024 Grand Highlander's more spacious third row, you can be confident of the space you're in. Confident enough to handle 5 kids, even if you don't understand when they say things like W-Riz. Learn more at exploresctoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
So, girls, what do you think is the biggest challenge for kids your age right now, Lauryn?
I don't know. I think it's probably just like learning how to go back to school and like talk to people, at least for me, because after we had been out of school for like a year and a half, I was so socially awkward because the only people that I had talked to were Corrine and Lena. So
And we know they're awkward.
Yeah, they're both probably more awkward than me. And I had to learn to like socialize with people again.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Corrine?
Did you repeat the question?
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge for kids right now?
Social media.
Okay. So what do you feel like your relationship with social media is? Is it pressure?
Honestly, it's so much. Like, social media has had such a negative effect on me in general, and it's not like helpful. But then again, if I stopped social media in general, I'd lose friends. Like, it's literally a line of, you stop social media, you have no friends. And Lauryn and Lena hopefully wouldn't drop me if I stopped social media, but I don't think they would, because I ride the bus and I go, like, in general, I just go everywhere with them. But like, if I stopped social media, no one would talk to me. Like, even at school, still.
Wow.
Because I don't have Snapchat, but I know they do. And it's like, they talk to just like so many people using Snapchat. And if you stopped using that, like, you would definitely not communicate with so many people that you used to.
And like, social media also, like, cyberbullying as well. Like, just being called names on social media has happened to me, and it's just so disrespectful, especially from boys. Like, no female deserves that, like, at all in general. Like, no one deserves that, to be called names or anything.
I'm sorry. That sucks.
Lauryn, how you were saying, like, if I stopped using Snapchat, that would, like, no one would talk to me anymore. That actually happened when we went in lockdown. I stopped using Snapchat for a while because I just didn't want to talk to anybody. And I did lose a lot of friends. I think it's just because I wasn't talking to them. And I didn't really post anywhere or on anything. So, like, the only friends I had were you guys, because I didn't really talk to anybody else. So, but I also think that some kids and what they deal with, like, a lot of middle schoolers, high schoolers, they have anxiety or depression or ADHD. Those things can really, affect people, especially in school.
Mm-hmm. It feels like almost everybody has like low grade anxiety these days.
Oh,
Everybody.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially because of peer pressure from parents. A lot of kids feel that.
There's expectations.
Yeah.
Especially like if your dad or mom was like a straight A student and they were an athlete as well, like they expect so much out of you and you can bring so little because you struggle with education more than them. Yet they expect you to be able to like live up to them, but you can't because you are not them. And some parents try to live through their kids.
All of them, some of the time.
Exactly. And it's just like, I don't want to do this, yet your parent is like, do it. You have to. Like, you're afraid they'll be disappointed in you if you don't do it. And you're just afraid in general of disappointing them. Because whenever the parents pull out the disappointment card, that's when things get real.
I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Exactly. Like, especially like, I don't care if you're mad at me. Like, you can be mad at me. I'm not gonna cry. But if you pull the disappointment card, especially for people that never yell at you, like my dad, like when he yells at me, I start crying right on the spot because it's just like different than when your mom yells at you. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I just feel it's different than
it is.
Well, and can we point out they take more classes than a college freshman?
Yeah, that's true.
Per semester. I mean, we're talking a college student on average has 6 classes, right? Max. If you're doing 3 credit hours, so that would be 18. You all are taking, some of you are taking 8, 7, 8. Yeah, because you don't even take that many in high school.
Because most people have 3 electives and then PE, unless you're in like band or something, then you have band and 1 elective. Right.
And I think that speaks to us as their elective teachers. What are we willing to risk versus what is the reward here? Is it really about their grade when you come to encore class? Really?
Right.
Because
is it really? I mean, because last year it became a checklist of what they had to do every week. We were, given 1 assignment per week. And this year I've just said, I've let go. I'm like, you know what? It's not about the grade in my class.
Yeah.
Because you get that from every other teacher in this school building.
Yeah. It should be about like exploring your interest and finding out like, do I like this or do I not like this?
And Lena spoke to academic pressure. I often find the students questioning me about what is required.
What's my grade?
Well, Mr. Luck, what do I need to do? How long does this need to be? What are the parameters of this assignment? And I'm saying nothing. But y'all struggle with that.
And I had a teacher in 7th grade, my ELA teacher. At least every day we had a new assignment every day. And it's not like 1 like little assignment. It's 3 assignments due this week.
Right.
Due like in 1 week.
In 7th grade when we were virtual, I did chorus. I had chorus for 6th and 7th. And sometimes we had to like submit singing, and I didn't like doing that. I liked better in person because you had other people like singing with you, so I felt more comfortable. And I was just like, why do I need to submit this? Like, what does this have to do with me going to college if I'm not going to do this as like an actual career choice?
And again, that elective class, you're not taking chorus because you want to be a professional singer. You're not taking theater because you want to be an actor. You're taking it so it'll make you a better person.
Exactly.
Right.
And your teacher's got to understand that.
Well-rounded.
Most people view like your electives or encores as like an extra class. Like, well, not an extra class, but just like a fun time. I feel like they don't take it as seriously.
To like get away from work.
Yeah, to get away from all the pressures of like your core classes.
And that's how I view it for you all. It's your 45 minutes every other day to relax, to decompress. And I can speak to that a lot later, but that's been my strategy this year. And I've caught a lot of flack from my coworkers about it. But I challenge them to do it because it's, you just want to be the cool teacher. No, I'm actually trying to listen to my students and hear them for once instead of telling them what they should be doing,
So on that note, Mr. Locke, when you were their age, what do you think were your pressures?
I remember making an animated graphic video on a really old computer in 7th grade in 2010 about how you could be a football player and be in band. So we didn't have the access to social media as they do. So we learned everything on the school bus or in the classrooms. All the peer pressure was within the school building, not outside of the school building. And so I was really struggling. I had a father at the time, and we didn't have a really good relationship. And so I felt very pressured to play football because I was just really good at it, as Corrine is very good at soccer, right? There was an expectation Jacob Luck will play football. But then there was that other side of me that was this band student who just, like Lena said, I just love playing my instrument. It wasn't about becoming a professional musician. It was just, I love playing my instrument. I was obsessed with percussion, which is drums, cymbals, all the crazy stuff that fits my personality. And so that was my stressor. Do I, as you said, do I hang out with people who wear Lululemon? At the time, it was Under Armour, I think, was the big thing. Do I hang out with those people in the gym and throw stuff at people and call them every name in the book? Or do I sit in Jacob's corner and go sit in the band room and go hang out in the back of the band room? And eventually what happened was I was going to the back of the band room. And so that was our peer pressure, was fitting into these subgroups of within the school building. So literally like your jocks, your artists, and then your really smart students. And I knew I wasn't really smart. So yeah, that was kind of the pressure at the time.
So it was parental pressure and then pressure in school as well.
Parental pressure for sure.
Right.
Still all the politics though. Like if mom or dad played baseball, you were going to play baseball. It wasn't, hey, do you want to play? No, you're playing.
Right.
Just like Corrine said, like living vicariously through your kid.
Oh yeah.
And it's so annoying sometimes.
Well, and here's the other thing. My father and my grandfather went through the same school. So their name was on the wall. So there was an expectation. And my older brother was also very good at sports. So there was no question that I was not going to play sports. It was just a given.
So, girls, I'm going to start with Lauryn because I know this is going to be your favorite question.
Okay, I think I know what question it is just from that.
What is your favorite book and why?
Oh, good question.
It changes.
Okay.
It changes a lot. But at the time of writing my responses, it was A Catcher in the Rye because that was like a book I had just read, but it really affected me. It was very sad because it talked a lot about like depression, and it was a very sad book, but I really loved it because it was just kind of like a teenager living his life. I don't know, it kind of just like helped me know that I don't have to do anything like something amazing or incredible. I can just like be a person. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
How about you, Corrine?
So for this question, I had two answers because one was like for the book, like right now at this time, and one was like all-time favorite book.
Okay.
So for right now at this time, I'd probably say I Will Always Write Back, which Lauryn has also read and told me it was very good. And it's just because it talks about struggles between two different people in two different areas. One person in Africa, one person here, and the different struggles he had to have and she had. She didn't have as many struggles as him because he was poor, living in Africa, not much money, not much clothes, had one pair of clothes, no shoes, and it was different, and she started helping him. So it's just like how you can help someone smallly through different things. And then favorite book of all time, Harry Potter, hands down. Like,
what is that? Have you heard of Harry Potter?
No.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
That's a pretty underground book.
And it's just because like it was before like Harry Potter became like a whole popular thing. It's because
you're so cool, Corrine.
Yeah.
You liked it before it was cool.
And I started it probably in third grade, finished it around fourth grade, and maybe like end of fourth grade year, I would say. And it was just so good. Like it had like a homey feel too. Like it's just like I wanted to escape this reality and go to that reality because it was just like I just wanted to go there. Like there's no reasons. I just wanted to go there. Like,
well, you can go there at Disney now, apparently.
Disney?
And it's on Broadway.
Yeah. Oh, it's on Broadway too.
It's on Broadway.
Oh.
I have to go to Broadway again, guys.
It's on Broadway.
I said Hunger Games because that's like the first book that like got me into reading. It was in 6th grade, and I just taken it off, my 6th grade ELA teacher's bookshelf and read it, and I became obsessed with it. And then I had watched the movies recently because I didn't know like some of those movies, they're not anywhere for some reason. Like they're only on DVD and was not really on any streaming things, but I watched them and became obsessed. But I don't really have like a favorite book right now. I don't think. I just read books. I don't really pick and choose because I kind of like them all. Once I read.
My latest favorite book was Educated.
My mom loves that book.
So
Did she read it?
Yes.
Have you read it as
I've
well?
read it last summer.
Yeah, it was amazing. I gave it to Lena to read. So you girls can read it afterwards if you want. Or have you already read it?
I have not read it.
I have a copy at home if you want it for free. I'll give it to you.
It's really a good book.
Found it at a yard sale and
My mom
took
was
it.
like,
I was like,
singing
I'm
its
buying this
praises.
again.
Yep.
She loves it.
So do you have a favorite book?
I love self-help books because I feel like with my history, and I can speak to that, but just self-help in general, I'm very hard on myself. So I just read a book called Wallowing with a W in parentheses. And it was talking about allowing and not suppressing your feelings and allowing to feel those feelings of whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. And the key word was allow. Allow yourself to feel those sad thoughts, those bad thoughts. And so,
Yeah, I think we became so focused on like, just have a positive mindset, just think positive, just say positive things. But, we are dual human beings, so we're not going to be happy all the time.
Nope.
It's very difficult to be like 100% positive about everything you're doing.
Absolutely. And just to allow ourselves to like be in the moment of whatever is happening in life.
Right.
Like if something happened to your dog, you're not going to be happy about that.
There's no really like silver lining. In that.
That's how it is, though. I mean, that's the world, right? It's literally one of our family friends died. When was that game? When was our game? Football Wednesday. We had a football game Wednesday, and like first thing my mom tells me when I walk up at the gate to see her is, so and so, took their life today.
Oh no!
And we just saw the guy 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it still exists. Like people have depression, and people sometimes won't go talk. They feel like that is the way out, and I just stopped in my tracks because I just had like the best day ever at work. We won, like our football team was doing really well, and come to see mom to give her a hug and say, how are you? Love you. I'm gonna go talk to the boys, and like you get hit with that. And all I've thought about all week is that guy, right?
Yeah, of course.
So it's real.
Yeah, and I think now there's so much more language around like anxiety and depression and things that in my time we didn't have a language for. You just need to get up and get out the door. Yep. And I had a horrible teacher in third grade. She picked on me and she did not like me. I don't know why. And in fourth grade, my mother told me, I don't even remember doing this, but my mother told me that I would cry every morning and beg not to go to school. Wow. But I had a great fourth grade teacher. I loved her. So obviously had PTSD
you did.
from my third grade teacher, but we didn't have the language for it.
Can I say something about that?
Yes.
Last week, I had a drama student who avoided coming to school because they didn't want to perform. The student was like telling mom that they felt sick and that they were really dragging their feet. And mom ended up writing me a letter. They had missed 3 of my classes in a row. And it's either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday. So I called mom and said, what's going on? And they were like, well, they don't want to perform in front of others because they're uncomfortable with their body right now. They're transitioning, transitioning to a male. And so I said, okay, we'll just do it in private or they can video it to me. But I just hate that conversation couldn't have been started with the student because they felt so much peer pressure again to just get up there and do it because everybody else can do it. Yeah.
And I feel like there's like a lot more tolerance for mental illness now. Like people are much more aware of it, but at the same time, there's a lot of other new factors that can cause mental illness, like social media and sort of like feeling alone or isolated during the pandemic. And I think it's good that people are more like aware of mental illness now and you can sort of like help yourself instead of feeling like you're the only one who's suffering.
Yeah, and sometimes it feels good just to be able to have the words and be able to talk to other people like, man, my anxiety is off the chain today. I don't know what's going on. And sometimes when you can just say it,
Right.
it helps you to kind of like, okay, I let that out now.
Wednesday, I moved classrooms for the 6th time in 2 years. And I woke up with just the most anxiety. And I had to remind myself as I walk in the school building today, I can only control what's going on in my room. And so when I got to school, everything was great. The students helped me move, but I was worried about everything else as to hurt my students' feelings because I was moving. What they don't know is I was moving to get away from that environment inside the school building. It wasn't just for them. It was actually for me too. So it's not, I think it starts well before your age.
Oh, for sure.
I think it starts when you're all the way from a toddler to an adult.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like how Brenda said, she had a horrible, tyrant of a 3rd grade teacher.
Girl, I had therapy after that. Like in the last 10 years, I had to have therapy about that. Just ridiculous. That bad. It was bad. The way that it affected me, it was bad because I was always pretty sensitive.
Yeah, I went to therapy this summer about attention seeking because for the last several years as an actor, aspiring actor, you have to put yourself out there. But what it turned into was just this out of control need for attention. Same with Snapchat. I can't delete it. I'm stuck. And it's there. It's there. I'm kind of working on ways to navigate how to use social media as a tool like I am now with all of you and not as attention.
Look at me. Look at me.
Look at me. Look what Mr. Luck's doing. Because I could go post pictures of myself all over social media, but I'm not really using it as a tool.
Right. All right. You girls ready for another question? Let's see. If you could do anything in the world, Lena, for what you want to do whenever you grow up, what would you do and why? And it can change, of course.
Well, I don't really know what I want to do.
That's okay. Well, what would you want to do that would just be fun? Whenever I was your age, I wanted to be a horse jockey.
Music teacher.
You want to be a music teacher?
Yep.
If this kind of counts, travel the world and just take pictures, photography and stuff like that.
So you need to be a photographer and influencer. That's cool. I would like to do that as well.
Okay.
What about you, Corrine?
Okay, well, I would like to be a teacher. And I know a lot of people don't want to be a teacher. And it's just because, first off, my grandma and my mom are both teachers. And my grandma still she used to sub, but since COVID, she kind of stopped. But I want to be a teacher because a lot of people don't want to be teachers anymore because they hate kids now.
Yeah.
I don't really like kids that much, but
older teachers don't want to be teachers because of kids.
But I want to help people because even though teachers don't make a good salary or like they deserve a good salary, because without teachers, what would you do? Seriously,
teachers are very necessary.
I would have to teach you, and then you wouldn't learn anything.
Exactly. So. And so that's why I want to be a teacher, is to help people who need help with things. And I want to be a social studies teacher because that's kind of a class that you can make from boring into fun. My social studies teacher, she is super fun, super energetic. I love her. And it's just so amazing having her. And Lauren's social studies teacher, he seems so fun too.
Yeah, he dressed up in a pirate costume and we were learning about Blackbeard.
That's funny.
So I just want to be a teacher. And then I kind of want to help pollution too, help with pollution. I would like to pick up as much as I can, even though I'm not very good at recycling things. Shut up, Lena.
We at the bus stop, she literally
told her to put it in your book bag and take it with you.
You might want to start with that.
Told her to pick it up, she didn't.
Work your way up from there.
She's always angry in the morning. It scares me a little bit.
All right, Lauren, how about you?
On my thing, I put end climate change, but I felt that's a pretty lofty goal.
That's big.
I would definitely like to do that. I would, like Corrine said, I would like to do something that helps the planet because it's in a bad state right now.
It sure is.
And so I said more realistically, maybe become a park ranger or a conservationist or a biologist, something to do with animals and nature to help animals and nature.
Cool. I like that.
Zoology, maybe.
Yeah.
Or you could still become a writer and write about that stuff.
You could write about it. I like that.
Good, yeah.
So you wanted to be a band teacher?
I wanted to be a music teacher initially, music teacher. That evolved into wanting to be a culinary artist. Going to Johnson & it's not Johnson & Johnson, is it? No, that might be an insurance company. I don't remember. What's the Johnson C. Wells?
Okay.
Is that I wanted to be a culinary artist, and then that evolved into wanting to become an actor, and then that evolved into wanting to become a teacher. Dropped out of the teacher program. Said, no, I'm not going to do teaching. Wanted to be an actor. Yeah, I lied. The universe slapped me in the face when I graduated and said, you a teacher.
Yeah.
Right? So I had no choice but to teach. So it seems. Cool. And I don't regret it. But that's not what I want to be when I grow up. When I grow up, I want to be a therapist.
Nice.
Specifically a school therapist. School counselor.
My stepmom, she's a school therapist at, I don't know what it's called, but she works at NC State for it.
Oh, really? Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
That was another one of my dream careers, is to be a child psychologist or therapist, because a lot of times children with mental illnesses kind of get thrown to the side because, what can a little 7-year-old have wrong with their brain? But it's a lot can be happening to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So Jacob, can you tell us about some of the challenges that you've had with COVID, teaching during COVID? Because you taught when everybody was virtual. Now everybody's back at school, which is also probably challenging.
It is.
Probably last year, the end of last year was more challenging because it was a little bit more.
Well, and you all spoke to it earlier about the socialization. We talked about it among my group of coworkers that I would say that I'm kind of in a little group with. We talk, right? Just like you all, we talk at lunch, and that is the biggest struggle at our school. They don't get any social time. Everything is pressed in the day, to where traditionally they used to come into school and go to the gym or the commons and socialize and get that time.
I'm going to take a pause on this because I want to talk about the TikTok challenges.
Finally, I've been waiting since yesterday.
Girl, that's why they got no alone time, because they can't be trusted.
Slapping the teachers. We had a whole
and Mr. Luck was slapped.
You were slapped?
I was slapped, and the student was suspended.
I was going to ask you what you would do.
After we're done, can you tell me who it was?
Confidentiality. I cannot tell you. All I will say is I'm very close with the student. And so I
they
was...
felt like they could.
Correct. That student's going through a lot right now, specifically loss. And so they saw it as I'm just joking with you, Mr. Luck. And unfortunately, they did it twice. So and that's the thing about me. I'm telling you, though, if you did that to an older teacher, I don't know what would happen.
Older teachers seem to just hate their students.
And it's not that I don't take my job seriously. It's just that I trust the student. So I said, was that an accident? Yes, it was, Mr. Luck. Okay, great. We'll try again tomorrow. Next day, slaps again. I said, all right, so now we're going to get wrote up. And the student proceeded to flip me off and started giggling and said, I want to go home. And so in that case, I had to contact the parent and go through the protocol. Long story short, do not follow the TikTok challenge. It will not make your teacher like you. It will give us a headache. So that is one of the challenges.
That was the one I was going to talk about.
That's what I said before, and you didn't.
The biggest challenge, in my opinion, is accessing them. They are so manipulated, and even we as teachers are manipulated by this. I'm trying to access them and meet them in the room, and I can't do that.
The teachers sent out some email to the other teachers about there was this list of TikTok trends. Somehow they knew what was going to happen in those months, which confused me. I was like, do they know the future? Okay, how did that even happen? How did that evolve?
I don't think the students knew about those challenges.
How did the teachers just come up with them just so we could do it?
There are teachers who are more interested in being involved in what you're going to do instead of meeting you at the door with where you're at.
It's like October, slap a teacher. I'm like, okay, when was this discussed?
Yeah, I didn't know
when
about
was
this.
this discussed on TikTok? I didn't.
So I'm going to say, girls, don't slap your teacher.
No.
And don't steal anything from the school.
Yes.
I'll give you stuff. You can come to the treasure chest in my room and take whatever you want.
No,
I just have a bunch of junk. I'm thinking about just doing like a yard sale.
I'm
Because
gonna
I have so much junk.
I'm gonna take a screwdriver to school and unscrew the bathroom door. I'll steal that.
Someone did that.
Girl, don't say that. You're on camera.
Someone did
It was
that.
sarcasm. It was sarcasm.
Someone did that to one of me and Lena's teachers.
Oh, in the mobile?
She was literally like, "If you want soap, just ask me. I'll give it to you." Like, don't bring a screwdriver and unscrew my soap.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to continue or?
I will. I don't know what the time is, but back to just accessing you all. Even yesterday, I sat down last night really fast and just said, okay, how can I access students this week with this lesson plan? So I'm trying to get more involved in that communication piece and come to class and share some things first before we get off topic. Did that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I hope so. I'm sorry.
So one last question for you girls, because I think we're getting close to the end. We need to wrap things up. So tell me one thing that like makes you really happy. Corrine knows right off the bat.
I got 3 things.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The rain, because the rain has such a feel.
It does.
And it's like a great smell
It's
too.
nice.
It's such a nice smell.
Mhm.
Coffee. They don't.
Girl, you drink coffee?
I do.
She had 2 cups today.
She don't need coffee.
I'll bring you coffee sometime, Corrine.
I love it. Any kind of coffee, I'll try it and I'll like it. And then I write poems. Cause
Yes.
Poetry.
Yes. We're going to do one poem
to
take
Poem.
us out.
I
Whenever.
got a poem.
So pull up one for us.
Poem.
All right. Lena, what makes you really happy?
Since Corrine didn't say it, I said hanging out with them.
Aww.
That's so sweet.
She's the ringleader.
They're funny, I guess. They make me laugh. And also, no, that's it. Or like just like seeing funny videos on TikTok, they make me laugh. They make me happy,
Nothing about me.
Nothing about you.
Awesome.
Okay.
Lauren?
For me, what makes me happy? For me, what makes me happy is I was also gonna say the rain. Actually, I love the rain.
Mm-hmm.
But like taking care of myself, like just like if I'm feeling upset, I'll clean my room. I'll like do a face mask.
Self-care.
Yeah, I'll just like make my bed. Make myself a nice meal. It makes me feel a lot better.
That's awesome.
I want to do face mask in class. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Class.
Yeah.
I think I had a stroke. That's all right.
That'd be funny. What
In
makes you
class.
really happy?
Family.
Yeah.
My fiance. We just booked a cruise last night for our honeymoon. I've never been on a boat in the middle of the ocean.
I hate boats.
So I just enjoy family. I often think about the future and traveling. So traveling is the word there that I'm trying to find.
Yeah.
I love to travel. So I'm already planning a bunch of vacations.
Yeah. And things that make me really happy are hanging out with my friends
Oh, yeah.
and my kids
People.
sometimes.
Wow.
And traveling. I do love to travel. There's something about the experience of just like going somewhere and being somewhere different.
And traveling without internet and cellular connection. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, that's challenging.
Here we go, social media.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if a big boat will
Challenge.
cut it off.
Well, Corrine and our families go camping at the New River.
Whatever.
Lena,
You don't like camping.
she doesn't like camping.
Doesn't even try to invite me.
We
They
have
just, like,
invited
go.
her.
This is a sore subject.
Whatever.
But there's over like in the middle of the mountains. There's no really like connection up there, so we gotta find things to do. We play
connection to
cards
nature.
a lot.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
Go fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Connect with nature while you're there. Because I love being out in the woods. I have one of my
Especially
happy
barefoot.
places. Mm.
I like being barefoot in nature.
Girl.
My dad tells me not to be barefoot in the woods because there's so much broken glass.
Oh, God.
I like it. Put your
What
feet in
kind
the
of
river or
woods are you
something.
going into? All right. So,
I got it, guys.
okay.
I'll take us out with a poem.
Yes,
So
we're
this
going out
kind
with a poem here.
so shockingly, this kind of actually relates to what you guys were talking about earlier with
Cool.
just
Read your poem.
okay. I'll read my poem.
Read
Ready?
the poem.
Okay, she stares at herself in the mirror with tears running down her cheeks and is reminded of all the fighting, screaming, blood scars, yelling, and telling herself it'll be okay. But now she knows that it's life, and life will never be okay because life isn't easy. It's meant to be hard, and it's not meant to be okay all the time. Life is not the same as others. Everyone is different, yet they can also be the same. But she knows that now that her life was never and never will be okay. As she looks at herself in the mirror every day, wishing she could just be okay.
Wow, that was
really deep.
That was really sad.
We need a poetry club
Yeah,
Your poems are so
at
sad,
school.
Corinne. Your poems.
Poetry club.
Like poems. But this relates to what we were talking about earlier, how no one's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one's
And you're
like
reminded
100% fine.
Every day when you look at yourself in the mirror, you are reminded every day that you are not okay. And your life, it's either okay or it's not okay. There is no in between.
How old are you?
I'm 13.
Girl, you know her age.
I think we need to go to school and they need to teach us. I think that needs to be,
Sit down. Take a seat.
You're so wise, Corinne.
Thank
You
you.
are.
Thank you.
If only teachers would listen to you.
Yeah, it's so true.
Mm.
All right, everybody. I
All
really
right.
appreciate you guys being here
Yes.
and being our guests on the show for a
Thank you for
second time.
having us. Thank you
Yeah,
for
I
having
appreciate
us.
being a guest on this. It's very fun.
We
Yeah.
might have to do it again sometime.
I would love to.
Talk some other deep stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So-
Corinne will share some more phones, guys.
All right.
Fun.
All right. Well, we will see you on the next episode of Peace out.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. Please follow and subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and leave a review. It's so easy to do and such a huge help for us. We appreciate your interactions so much. Want to join us at our table? Make sure to check out our YouTube channel and join our Facebook community. If you've enjoyed this content and wish to support us, take a look at our Patreon page. All information and links will be in our podcast description. Catch you next time.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM. Women's voices amplified.